Héctor Duarte, vengo de México. Nací en Caurio de Guadalupe, Michoacán. Michoacán es el estado. Mi padre, he worked in California. A lot of years he worked there, in the fields. Mi familia somos, como dije, 9 hermanos. Y de los 9 hermanos, todos viven en
I have
Zamora,
9
Michoacán.
siblings, and they
Solo
all
yo
live in
estoy,
Zamora, Michoacán, in Mexico. I
acá.
have a mother who is alive in her 90s, and my dad, he was a migrant and helped
Mi
us
madre
gather an
vive, mi madre
education.
es muy
They're all happy living in Mexico. I'm also married here in Chicago and have 3 children. 2 are girls and 1 is a man. My wife is Linda, and we live in Chicago, and we follow the culture as, citizens here, but I bring in the Mexican culture to the family.
Bueno, en general es el comportamiento humano lo que me hace reflejar en el arte. Que yo he visto
I'm
muchos
inspired
artistas
by
como
visual arts because it gives
Siqueiros,
me a
que
time
es
to
el
reflect on my
artista
mind and also
no
on my
directamente
community
de
and
él,
what
pero
I'm
de su
surrounded by.
técnica.
And also, I have always been inspired by artists such as Siqueiros, Rembrandt, Chagall, Guayasamín, and Orozco.
Yo creo que en el proceso de la obra, cuando estoy produciendo la obra, muchas veces me siento enojado porque no logro pintar
When
lo
I
que
make
yo
art,
quiero
I
ver.
usually feel frustrated
Y
or
aunque esté en mi
mad
mente, a
because
veces no
I
logro eso.
feel like
Es
I
una
don't
batalla
reach my
muchas
goals as a
veces.
painter.
Pero
However,
generalmente
once I
siento
turn on music, and it helps ease my emotions as I paint, and it helps me develop what I'm trying to experience and communicate visually.
Cuando yo estaba en la secundaria, que sería como entre séptimo y noveno grado, ahí en ese tiempo empecé a hacer cursos por correspondencia.
So when I was in 9th grade as a high school student, I would purchase painting books so I could learn how to paint. Then I ended up working at a hardware store, and I decided that at the age of 20, I was going to drop that store because I knew that I would become a painter. After I left the hardware store, I searched for a job with another artist, and his name is Jose Guadalupe Niño Vasquez. And I asked him for a job, but he didn't have anything for me at the time. And I also communicated to him that I wanted to be a drawer. So I did my thing, and then after 2 years, I asked him again, and that's when I started to work with him. And he's one of the most influential people in my life.
Bueno, igual como una de mis objetivos al llegar aquí era venir a pintar, a poner en práctica lo que había aprendido.
When I first arrived to Chicago, I decided that, I would start off small, so I started painting for restaurants. For example, like smaller murals or images, and at times my friends would hook me up with alleyways to paint, and in exchange they would give me like tacos and tortas as I painted.
Para mí es como mi pueblito pequeño, el área donde yo vivo y
when I hear the word Pilsen, I think of it as my small city. However, people are being displaced because of gentrification, and that upsets me.
Yo creo que lo único será que la gente estuviera más organizada, los dueños de la propiedad estuvieran más organizados para promover la cultura que se desarrolla.
What I think we can do is the fact that people need to be more organized, as well as business and homeowners. And that would probably be one of the only ways that we can promote our culture to prevent more gentrification. However, it's hard because a lot of the real estate has already sold the land, making it very hard to make it affordable for people who live there.
Bueno, en el barrio, y no solamente en el barrio, fuera del mismo, hay muchas organizaciones con las que he trabajado, por ejemplo, Casa Aztlán, Casa Michoacán, el Museo Mexicano.
So I work for a number of organizations and institutions Some of them include Casa Atzlan, Casa Michoacana, the National Museum of Mexican Art, and the Mestizarte workshop. I also like to donate some of my works to these institutions or organizations when they ask me to donate, so they can get more funding. But also my interests include youth. I really enjoy working with students at a young age, and I enjoy sharing my skills and my Mexican culture, for example, like mask making and kite making and printmaking, because I feel that the earlier that they learn about this, the more that they will be aware of who they are.
El arte en sí tiene una función que encausa más bien por el lado espiritual, que tiene que ver con sensaciones, tiene que ver con algo que...
So I know and I believe that art has a spiritual connection with people. And the more that I paint about my culture and share about my culture, that's a way for people to learn about themselves. And once they learn about themselves, it'll be much easier for them to know and love themselves with confidence.